Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some intriguing stuff to go and talk about when it comes to the consoles, when it comes to PlayStation 5 especially, where it actually did go and finally break a huge, massive milestone, although one of the biggest things that I want to go talk about too as well is the fact that it's kind of actually being overshadowed by its previous predecessor. And as well, we also have more intriguing news when it comes to the Xbox, and a bunch of little cool stuff as well, kind of piggybacking on some of the information we actually had earlier on this week, as well in terms of big sales numbers. And as well, just a lot of stuff is kind of seem a little bit on the weirder side when it comes to PlayStation 5. Although, if you guys did go and see our previous video, we actually have seen some kind of nice news when it comes to scalpers and third-party people, although Sony themselves still needs to make the consoles for them to actually go get the hands of normal consumers. So we have a lot of stuff to go talk about it as well. There's a lot of fun things to go mention too, a little bit of drama as people always like it. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc digital console controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well linked down below, and sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, and let's go and dive the video itself. So, as I mentioned, as you guys know, the PlayStation 5 has still been doing phenomenally well. But that's only if you kind of just look at the general economic crises going on, such as the pandemic, supply chain issues, shipping issues, delivery issues, and just everything else up the wazoo. It's just been a lot of stuff going on. But all those things considered, the Switch, the Xbox, the PlayStation have been doing very, very well. Although, if you guys want to compare it to previous generations, not so much. So, we at least have some good news. Like, we'll talk about maybe some fun stuff to go talk about first and foremost, and then kind of get in the nitty-gritty. So, let's go do, and I guess just do into it, if that's the word. So, the PlayStation 5 has now officially reached another huge sales milestone in the UK. And as I even mentioned this one, it's just not all good news, although it's still been doing pretty much, not the worst. It could be worse, So basically, they're even throwing in the OG N64 references. So with this, Sony has reached now a brand new kind of big milestone in terms of sales of the PlayStation 5, but apparently it's probably just not what we're most expecting. And this is actually, based on the usual struggles as we've been seeing so far. We have now officially seen them go and overtake the old school Nintendo 64 for lifetime sales in the UK. And I'm sure as well the United States, I think, was slightly bigger just due to the overall bigger population at the time, although at that point it's going to be very, very soon. So at that point, you could essentially just kind of rope in the UK and the United States together, and although the N64 was a pretty good console, I would go and say a pretty big trendsetter. As you guys probably know, back in the day, gaming just was not as big at the time. A lot of people did enjoy games, but it just wasn't like this huge AAA multi-billion-dollar industry that is right now. Not everyone had a computer, not everyone had a console. I'm sure a lot of parents were apprehensive on spending that much money, and it just was more of the early iterations, so it just wasn't as normalized. But in the end of the day, that console ran for many, many times with many, many iconic games too as well on the Nintendo 64. So as of right now, the PlayStation hitting and going past that goal, in all honesty, is pretty big. Now as well too, they're also getting close to the next big Nintendo final boss going on over here with the Game Boy Advance, which is intriguing to go and see. So we are actually seeing some good sales numbers in comparison to previous gens, and I think that's just always a nice number to see, especially for the Xbox or PlayStation, because it does go to show that there has been industry growth, that there has been new games, and there has just been a lot of new stuff coming out, which at the end of the day, I think is nice to see, because we don't want to keep on getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We want to keep growing and growing and growing and getting more people in the gaming ecosystem, making more consoles, producing more consoles, and all of that. But the one kind of big note on this one, though, is that although it's hitting some big numbers still, and we're still seeing restocks, and we're still seeing movement, right now the PlayStation 5 is actually losing to the PlayStation 4. Now, the PlayStation 4 is probably one of the best-selling consoles of all time. They've had phenomenal first few year sales, and that was pretty much what the PS5 initially, if you guys remember back like a year ago, that was their goal. They wanted to beat the PlayStation 4. They wanted to make more consoles than the PlayStation 4. They wanted to literally go be the biggest PlayStation yet, and as of right now, it's not hitting those projections, and it's not hitting those numbers. It is actually literally losing to the previous gen, where the PlayStation 4 is still kind of bumping along. And this is also too the fact that PlayStation 4s are essentially not even being produced. There is a few, though, We still have been seeing brand new productions, facilities, etc., making them, and also in other countries such as like India and China, etc. But at this point, the numbers are like it's like 1%, if even that. So in terms of this one, it's kind of intriguing to note from game industry head Christopher Dring that PS5 isn't actually the only console to overtake the lifetime sales of an older Nintendo console. We're actually also had the Xbox Series X and S overtaking now the GameCube a few months back. So it does kind of seem like, although these are kind of weird numbers to go and compare them to, because they are older than previous consoles, it's kind of cool to see that, like I said, gaming has evolved and gaming is getting better. And as well, it's also going to be kind of big comparisons too, to compare, say, the Xbox 360, which was Microsoft's bread and butter, at least so far, to also the current Xbox Series X and S. Or there actually was, I'm not sure if you guys would agree. If you guys want to leave your comments down below, I'd love to hear it. There is a big kind of gaming function for me, where I basically went to all my friends, had an Xbox 360. We would play Halo, we'd play Call of Duty, whatever, all that, but that was our main console. The online was better, all my friends had it. PlayStation 3 at the time wasn't awful, and did also have the free online, although that kind of came with its own caveats, where it just wasn't as good, not as popular, and all of that. So I almost want to hear if you guys had a similar fall through, where I went from Xbox 360 to then PS4, and now I'm on PC and PS5. So I'm kind of curious if you guys had a similar life cycle for that, or maybe you guys are PlayStation fanboys from PS3, PS4, PS5, boom, 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 or even honestly maybe Xbox fanboys. You guys are just like Xbox 360, Xbox One to Xbox X, and Xbox Series S. So I'm kind of curious in that one too as well. So basically, as of right now, no exact figures were provided, though Ring believes that if console stock was more widely available, we'd be seeing some serious record-breaking numbers here, which, as you guys know, I kind of track a lot of the restocks itself, and I would agree. As of right now, the PlayStation we even kind of talked about before has had like a 3-month kind of lull where there is still restocks, although they're slowly trickling in. And now at this point, the Xbox does kind of seem like it's kind of getting its flow going, especially with their chip priority that they've been pushing. But at the end of the day, it's just not that crazy. So in their last official figures numbers, we're going to probably have to wait until the next official Sony conference, for their stakeholders to have more numbers. But basically, they did go and confirm that 17.3 million PS5 units shipped worldwide, and that was as of December 31st. Which, as I kind of compared before too as well, this is slower than the PlayStation 4, which sold actually a nice little Twitch sub. Thank you. If you guys ever want to go hang on the Twitch, feel free to down below. All the Amazon, all the usuals, Thank you. It's always fun whenever people go and sub, so thank you. If you guys have Prime subs, hit it up. Which sold more than 3 million units so far in the same time frame, although a certain demand certainly isn't lacking, which I would agree. I really would like to go and know these full-on numbers if there was no supply chain issues. Like, would we be seeing the PlayStation 5 at 30 million consoles already? 40 million? And I guys might be thinking, well, there's no way. Think about just how backlog and how many bad restocks as well. And also factor in the fact that these are also bigger consoles with higher demand. I could actually probably see a 30 million console PS5 sold if there is no supply chain issue. Same with the Xbox, probably hitting at least 20 million in terms of demand as of right this second. Because also don't forget too, this is also 4 months outdated, so obviously there's more consoles that have been worked on in. We're probably close to the 20 million mark as of now. So obviously we also have the pandemic and all the other various things too on top of that, which affected all these big consoles too on top of that. And this is also kind of the big thing too to note, is because the Sony did go and downgrade these numbers. Like, they knew this was going to happen a few months ago, which was really disappointing news, and I was kind of hoping, because we had some nice hopium from Jim Ryan, that they would have just, took the L and they maybe wanted to pay more extra money, or they want to do it, which apparently Xbox did, and PlayStation didn't. And that's kind of why I feel like the PS4 has been doing so well. There's no major economic issues. I think a lot more things are also in stores. There is less botters, and I just think the overall, basically global vibe when it comes to the consoles themselves really did go push pretty well for the PS4. I did not see too many critiques. I mean, there obviously is a few in terms of games or issues or whatever, but the overall general vibes of the PS4 really was a pretty good vibe. And to the point you guys could even see it with how many total sales and how big the PlayStation brand was. That's why I'm kind of surprised the PlayStation 5 is just selling so poorly in comparison. Now, once again, it's more so in terms of the global economic issues, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of crazy to go and see that even Sony themselves kind of goes and realizes that the PlayStation 4 was an anomaly. It was just selling like hotcakes. It's doing very, very, very well. So at the end of the day, it's almost kind of sad to see that the PS4 is still to this point beating the PlayStation 5, and it probably will for quite some time. The PlayStation 4 numbers are astronomical throughout the entire world, and while it was very admirable to see Sony try their best to go push for it, it's almost intriguing to go and see that they just cut short. And at this point, this is multi-million-dollar consoles, and as well as also an over million console decrease, on top of an overall already supply pandemic, with scalpers and botters kind of just everywhere. So it's kind of an intriguing concept nonetheless, so kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below, because this is just weird. I mean, I gotta give credit to the PS4, that was a very good console, and I still have mine. Good stuff, good vibes. But at the end of the day, I kind of wish we'd still have a little bit more PlayStation 5s too as well. So this is I guess, a little bit of a rambling video too as well, because we're also seeing how the Xbox Series X has finally been making more consoles, finally getting them more in the hands of people, and at the end of the day, they are kind of actually catching up a little bit on the PS5, so hopefully both of them can go and step up, because at this point, the PlayStation 5 is slowly losing its lead, and it's not too fun to go and see. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below, and as well, I just want to hear your thoughts in general. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch room as well, linked down below. Sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, they're all linked down below, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Love you guys.